Bazm faz qam wazm gaz has tal bazm vaz wazm gaz has tal bazm vaz wasm 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 gaz has tal. So the Demoniakasvama chant, first word, starts with a capital, and they all use capitals with this chant. P, V, B, Z, M. Second word, E, V, U, Z. Third word, Q, V, W, Z, M. Fourth word, G, Z, H, Z. And the fifth word, E, Z, H, H, Z, T, L. And you're going to see other variations. Okay, there's still the gaze. So, the Church of Hermetic Sciences, their Dark Mirror of Magic film, included mention of, I'm going to interpret that a little bit right here, and let me, now watch the video yourself or read the things for your things. I'm not going to share exactly the prophecy, but who am I to question Frater Fabian and Frater Solomon of the Church of Hermetic Sciences in that they correctly conveyed their experience? Some would say there's suspicion about saying what they saw years after the fact, but this, in the beginning of 2001, I think it was, and they had a film crew with them. So, Baal-Zebub. Enmity against Baal-Zebub. And the war on Christmas, well, if there was a war on Easter. But there's more to that one. Now, a lot of oil-rich countries being basically taken over by the United States, yeah, that's pretty standard. 36 items of note. A couple decades ago, there was a Saudi list of rules for women, and only one, not even one line came close out of 36 pages of rules for women to being supported by religion. But wait, one sentence that they point out didn't really completely find its support. So you can't trust those 36 pages to find out what Islam has to say about women, but okay. And one of the common things now is a division in households in regard to religion. And the gospel of prosperity, claiming to be whole, is just, you know, we are tested with bounty and lacking. What we do with it. Saying God is pleased with us because we're rich is going too far. And there could be a time where this nation is plagued, not just by forest fires, but by fires from war and nuclear incidences and maybe riots across the country. But there's been 8 worldwide floods in humanity from rising sea levels. Not covering the mountains. That never happened. But it looks like another one's coming, 4 to 75 meters. Could happen all at once. It could happen over time. A mimicking of the biblical, what Frater Solomon saw with Frater Fabian leading him, or what they said at this point, mimic the timetable of the biblical generations. It turns out that George Bush was a genius, but a genius painter, and some other stuff. But there's also other terms of genius in terms of spirits. And in my inauguration of Satan representing the political situation and whatnot, that could be a reference to that sort of thing. Everybody's a son of man, but it's given a negative context in Judeo-Christian tradition. I don't know why it's giving that glare. But and sometimes, even if it's a bad person, even when a bad person faces being killed or something, it can be hard on a person. And some people, whether it's a portion of the country or the ideals to the south or the north or the east or the west or something, it's like particularly in music that's undone. And there's different approaches to evil. There's the silent one, and then there's the outside one, so that exists. Snake, yeah. So duality lifted off, because good and evil and right and wrong stuff matters. So when that's done away with, there may be a change. I'm only going to quote this one line. I am here. Greetings. And the other one, simple loyalty. So they called up Vassago again, and this is on the DVD. And it's not on the tape, by the way, because the DVD was released years later. There's a lot of speculation masquerading as theories, both in the spiritual realms and the scientific realms. And so talking about dimensions, when you really don't know anything about these sorts of things, it goes too far. He didn't have a specific message that time, so it was about asking and being faithful to what you really believe is important. And yes, a lot of attention has been drawn to the whole thing, and there's been a lot of knockoffs. But there's also been a lot of developments, too. So let's see what some of the other, to the whole Solomonic magic thing. And in other videos and future videos, I will say stuff regarding to some of these traditions that prove from various aspects why this is not Solomonic magic. So, the mythology of Vasago, and that's said to be the good magic variation. So Michael Ford says it's to discover curses and backbiting against you, and for negotiations. Stephanie Connolly says it's for discovering and figuring out external and internal magic. James Donahue says it can be as a blood-red dragon or aged man, on a crocodile, holding a hawk, or as a large-eyed alien peering over a partition. So Vasago is kind of a peeper, I guess. Your typical Goetic text would say that it's of a good nature, like unto Agares, but it's a prince over 26 legions, tells of fortune, tells of a time not present, so, future and past. It also is supposed to tell about lost objects, and spirits that guard treasure. It's not mentioned in the pseudo-demoniarchia daemonum. One of the versions of the Goetia says it can be captured in crystals, and I believe there's another one of the Goetia that people say can be captured in crystals. That crystal? I don't know. But anyways. Rod Farrell was a vampire, a cult leader, and burned a V for Vasago onto victims. And the Book of Office of Spirits says it was an angel, just and true. But as I've pointed out before, angel in English means a lot of things. That it's, when you refer to the light beings and the fire beings and stuff like that, you're actually showing a distinction. But let's go into the general Prince sorts of things, calling any hour of the day. And let's look at the Jupiter. Jupiter B through C, minor, would be the traditional music. B flat, Lydia, and mode 1 is what the order of 9 angles has to say about it. 436.6 hertz over 440 hertz minus 13.3 centimeters and 86.05 over 172.1 beats per minute would make that an F in the 36th octave. That would be the scientific 183.38.58 hertz. Okay. Scents that we are looking at: agrimony, balamat, gilead, cedar, hyssop, juniper, lemon balm, lilac, linden, meadows, sweet, oak, nutmeg, oak, plantain, psyllium, psyllium husk, use a cheap brand. You don't need all the chemicals and flavor and whatnot. And wood and betony. Okay. VK Jehannam says that 26 or 28 or 316 are its numbers. Its direction is, behind me, west. Not exactly that wall, but so fire, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Sun, Archminister, an evil or dark presence with it, predatory, and a destroyer. Others say it appears as many arms with talons. So, kind of like a mammal sort of arm, but kind of like a bird, but a bird's hand, I guess. And is a demon of psychic abilities. Someone I don't remember said that he lives in a castle on a coastal forest in some spiritual realm, or perhaps one on the northern half of the world. Perhaps above a certain parallel, because I'm going to mention soon about the Anu, Enki, Enlil, probably. And Enki being identified with Satan by more people than anything else. But it possesses Jeremy on the movie Hideaway. Jeremy, the serial killer. And then there's the kind of Sitial is at the third Shemham Forash. So it has that kind of counteracting the angel with the demon, and he's possessed, and he's honoring hell. And it's an interesting movie and very graphic and very moving to a lot of people. Hax Kant says that Vassago answers questions in sleep. And I did mention Church of Hermetic Sciences, which is essential to, if you want. Their book on Solomonic magic did influence me in my research of the Like The Goetia. So I'm not really doing Goetia, but So 2011. So this was a little over 11 years after the circumstance that they talked about. And a Latter-day Saint said that one of the lines in the Vassago Millennium Prophecy was a confirmation of what they experienced. So here we are with my first operation of this. And Agares was... Okay, 8:31 to 9:06 p.m. on the 1st of April, 2011. And I had an almost full rhyme of it, but I used pine, symbolizing divination, and thought I'd like to say that I think I mentioned the Halahel right from 8:11 to 8:29 p.m. on Friday the 25th of March 2011. But I'm not really seeing any details. You think, if anything, that I would have experienced more in that regard, but the details of the experience catch up a little bit when you go to the next one in this series. But 2012 was the next experience, and I'm not listing any linguistics, but here is a version. Okay, I am listing linguistics, but I thought I'd share the experience first. From 8:15 to 8:40 p.m. And it was the same rituals, but it took longer, but when you're experiencing, you just let it flow. And, oh, maybe I used 18:1 through 3 from Quran, did I? Time seemed to slow. I heard a splash. A lot of colorful flashes made the air in the room thick all around me. I grew numb and throbbing. There was a presence extending from before me to above me and behind me. With pulses of euphoria, I would see what was a place of blocky design with a lot of blue, yellow, and green. I sat up straighter, feeling heady. I felt flashes of enjoyable warmth. I no longer noticed existence outside of my ritual space. I was very sensitive and could feel the slightest movement of even a hair. There were colorful clouds in different spots in the west from time to time. At one point, I saw a yellow-green tree in the altar top, dark mirror. And the altar top one would have been this one. I've given presents of dark mirrors before, but that is the altar top one. Now I have the other one in the north. And sky blue mist poured from the mirror and to the space between the circle of the 5 candles and the mirror. Feel free as you feel to add little details for aesthetics and such as seems fitting to you. It stayed between the circle of 5 candles in the mirror It stayed there for a minute before not being seen. A yellow-green tree. Now, what does that mean? Or maybe it's a being. I felt like I was watched from that spot as I ate the sacrament. And, you know, may it become our flesh, may it become our blood, is what I believe I said in the ritual. You know, the transubstantiation, but not of eating a god. You're eating yourself. You're eating, well, I mean, you're eating to become, for something to become yourself. And I often put a symbol on it. 35 minutes later, I felt a bit of the increased sensitivity. Items feel particularly good. I don't usually feel so good with my feet on the floor, on the carpet, and touching chairs and such with my hands. So it's really interesting sort of thing that's relatively rare in life. But Meshuggah, if you've heard that band name, it relates to more center. The Shagha is the Shagha is the error, the ravish, the wanderer, deceive, astray, ignorance. So you're people who worship this being, you're praying to something that doesn't have the best meaning of names. Shag is roar. Shagug is error, flesh, sin, deceive, astray. Shug is error, double, burden. Shaga is error, and some Latin, you know, because I was using the ancient Aramaic there. Vagio is of children, to cry, squall, off a while, clamor. A Greek word would be ago. Led away from, on, towards, conduct, drive, bring, convey, fetch, estimate, direct, consman, rule, instruct, guide, keep, a lifestyle, take along, spend, march, move, pass, lead, take, lead with, take with, and another Latin one. Ve, negative or emphasizing as a negative. Vas, a vessel, dish, utensil, implement. Again, we return. Naga, of course, you're going to use a ha because we're using a G. So slug is a storm. And seg is turn, increase, turning the foot, because you see the letter of the foot. Shug is error. W is and or add. W or wow is add or peg. Gu is back, middle, midst, with, in the same body, within, among. So Goyim is not just different tribe. There's negative implements in there. Gao is pride. Ga is lifting, strength, high, pride. Saga is increase, large, increase, magnify, grow. Asha is press, foundation, pressure. Ash is press, foundation, pressure. Ash is press, fire, despair, strong, pressing down, burning, fiery, flaming, hot. So a lot of demon names and grimoires use terms that can be of linguistic origins having to do with fire. But Goetia is turning back on God. Gawim is, of course, the plural. So those who turn their back. And Bosco is a Greek word. Feed, nourish, maintenance, graze. Sagio is to perceive, quickly or keenly in the intellect. Saga. Saga is like a word, wisdom, woman, fortune teller. It relates to the Cthulhu mythos. It's one of those words that's used in rituals pertaining to that. Sacco is strain or filter. Vaco is, sagio to vage is Latin. Vaco, free, void, empty, all of. Vague is an objective for fave, wide, dispersedly. So that is it with 2012 until next time around. But 2013, Seathal. Okay, I was right that it was Seathal. It's kind of like Oriax. If you see the symbol for Oriax or Orias, you're looking at something that pertains to no further linguistic notes, but let's, before I switch over the symbol there. Oh, maybe there is. The ancient Egyptian. Let's share some ancient Egyptian. Uwasag. And that's why Usagoo is the reference. But a large, wide board. Sa. Oh, sa. Su. I'm not saying that right. Su is a great or sudden motion. Also in the form of suha. As the result of some prophecy would be suha, but the guy with his hand in his mouth. And Sog is a fabulous hawk-headed animal with the forelegs of a lion, the hind legs of a horse, a tail like a lily flower, 7 paps, a rough, round neck, and striped sides. So it's particle is of a traditional demon. Make banishing pentagram right. Rose, symbolizing love, would have been the candle that I would use there. And bubbles. And this experience was Monday, the 2nd of April, 2013. 8:24 through 9:13 p.m. I felt really centered. I saw blue in the north and felt a presence there. I felt tingly. I saw a something. I saw you out of yellow blobs before me. Oh, a lot. Maybe I put a lot. Of yellow blobs before me. I felt warmth and a prickling on my skin. The prickling moved over my face like a pulsing. I saw a broken green pattern. I grew comfortably and energetically numb. I saw a red come down. The trance wore off at 9:15 p.m. I'm so peaceful at 9:56. The racing of my blood, the something of my blood rushing ended. Oh, the feeling of my blood rushing. And from Quran 6:88 through 91, 9:61 through 64, 18:1 through 10, and 93 through 110, 33 6 through 8, and 40 through 41, and 59 1 through 3 was extra verses I used from Quran. 2 John 6 through 8, 1 John 2:17 through 23 and 4:1 through 3 were extra verses that I used. Deberiyim was, from the Tanukh. 18.9 through 22. And, there's other verses that I could have used, but I'll go over them later in a different video when I run down the extra verses that I use that pertain to the subjects of the Goetic entities. I didn't just willy-nilly, I feel like reading these verses, or I directly related these verses, but Belial, that's what you want to find out about. Another ritual that happens to do with Belial. Belar, Belior, Beliar, Belial, which does not mean without masters, by the way. Pros Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 6:14 through 17. Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians 2:2 through 12. Job 34:10 through 22. Recently talked about some of Job. I could have said more, but there's other years, right? 2 Chronicles. Yeah, that's 2 Chronicles 13:1 through 23. And cinnamon, a symbol for exorcism, like the demoniacus fuma chants or exorcism. The ends that people use are for the karcist. But this would have been 8:15 through 9:08 p.m. on Wednesday, the 3rd of April, 2013. I felt a presence in the south. I saw my aura radiate into the north like a lantern flashlight. I felt very calm and content. My face glowed red before I saw my reflection completely disappear, till after the rite was complete. All stiffness disappeared in a radiating warmth that lasted till 9:13 p.m. I saw like a large glowing pink octahedron I felt pressed down upon. I saw movement in the room. I trembled like just waking up. I saw a yellow fire all above, at the height of the large dark mirror. And I'm going to close that there, but do I have any Sith? Okay, I was referring Sith being turning a... so Sith, so there's an angel about turning stuff. But anyways, if there's any question before I move on to the 15th Enochian Key ritual, because I am asking you, when I go over this, think about some of the stuff that we just said, or put it in that context, and how does it refer, just like that's my intention with all of these, if I don't remember, but the hymn. Yawn, 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 yawn. O thou, the
the governor of the first flame, under whose wings are 6, 7, 3, 9, which weave the earth with dryness, which knowest the great name righteousness and the seal of honor. Move and show yourselves, open the mysteries of your creation, be friendly unto me, for I'm the servant of the same your God, the true worshipper of the highest. Is Taban Lialpert Kasarman Bapahekes Darg Da Soado Kaoske Orskor Da Somax Monas Ke Baeoain Uremedanges Eaindex Zakaro Zamran Odo Kikleka Zorgelap Zero no command The color is golden, a golden trapezoid. With its short end sort of southerly to the orbicular jasper. And attached to that are 2 more such chambers. The largest, of course, being the one with the orbicular jasper. Well, not of course, but that's what it is. Sort of a pulsing from the left side, but also diagonally in the northwest of the stone. My vision just returned back to normal. Now I feel a touch cold, which I probably did not quite recognize. Fitharzi Bomsarg.